97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
What is baffling is that the very same people who are accusing us of trying to disenfranchise eligible voters were silent in 2016 when the Commission instituted registration in the district offices ahead of the presidential and parliamentary election. I take this opportunity to urge the good citizens of Ghana not to believe everything they hear.
After weeks of silence, EC Chair Jean Mensah defends her seemingly unpopular decision to limit the limited voter registration, accusing the NDC and other opponents of the decision of acting in a hypocritical manner. Also coming up, Savannah region's town of Bole cut off after torrential rains caused a river to break its banks and destroy a very important bridge in the area. And later on Eyewitness News.
Oh, my dream.
Oh, okay.
Angel.
Okay. Oba prayer position as MP.
The police commissioner caught in a secret tape plotting to remove IGP Dampare declares intentions to contest the Bekwai seat on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Ghana tops list of African countries with highest debt at the International Monetary Fund.
That's in 15 minutes from the business desk of Citi FM and Citi TV. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Western region on Adwinpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM in Takrady. We are also in Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. Ashanti, we are on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, as well as Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In Volta region, we are on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu, VOV Radio 95.7 FM in Hohwe. In Northern region, on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila. Also on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu in the Upper East region. And in the Upper West, we are on Tongsung 97.3 FM in Wa, as well as Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. We are also live on YouTube and we are live on Facebook. And we are interactive. You can join us with your messages on WhatsApp 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. And the world will hear what you think of the big stories that we are bringing you. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the Electoral Commission, which has been in the news for the past 1 week or so. Now, the Electoral Commission has denied claims that it is seeking to disenfranchise voters in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. The NDC, through its chairman, Asidu Nketia, last week accused the Commission of making it difficult for first-time voters in the NDC stronghold to register. Again, civil society organizations, including the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, have been asking for the expansion of the limitation process. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, called a press conference today, at which press conference she defended the position of the commission. Let's listen to her.
We will recall that in the lead up to the 2016 election, the commission at the time undertook voter registration in its district offices throughout the country. This was conducted in a year of a general election, that is a presidential and parliamentary election. And now the difference here is this. The current exercise being conducted in the 268 district offices is not being undertaken in a year of a general election. Hence my call to the Electoral Commission in 2016 to expand the scope of the registration. That is not to say that the district level election is not important. It is. We will recall that in the lead up to the 2016 election, the Commission at the time undertook voter registration in its district offices throughout the country. This was conducted in a year of a general election, that is a presidential and parliamentary election. And now the difference here is this. The current exercise being conducted in the 268 district offices is not being undertaken in a year of a general election. Hence my call to the Electoral Commission in 2016 to expand the scope of the registration. That is not to say that the district level election is not important. It is. However, as mentioned, our budget and work plan for 2023, which Parliament approved, was based on a long-term continuous registration and not registration on electoral area basis. I place on record that our plan for 2024 is not the same and will not be the same as what is being carried out today. Neither will it be the same as what happened in 2016. I'd like to take this again. I mentioned that the 2023 DLEs are important to us. Indeed, they are important elections indeed. However, as mentioned earlier, our budget and work plan for 2023, which Parliament approved, was based on a long-term continuous registration and not registration on electoral area basis. I place on record that in 2024, our plan will not be the same as what is being undertaken today. Neither will it be the same as what occurred in 2016. In the lead up to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, we will roll out a continuous registration of voters for several months in the district offices. Additionally, we will undertake a mop-up exercise in selected electoral areas, particularly in areas that have difficulty in accessing our district offices. And so you see that the registration exercise planned for 2024 is different or will be different from what was conducted in 2016. What is baffling is that the very same people who are accusing us of trying to disenfranchise eligible voters were silent in 2016 when the Commission instituted registration in the district offices ahead of the presidential and parliamentary election. I take this opportunity to urge the good citizens of Ghana not to believe everything they hear. The allegations being made against us, including accusations of our working to disenfranchise eligible voters, to sending faulty kits to the stronghold of a specific political party, are false. A number of districts reported having faulty kits on the first 2 days. These kits were not located only in the stronghold of a political party, of a particular political party, and the evidence is there for all to verify. The only region that did not report any faulty kits is the Savannah region. All other regions had faulty kits which were swiftly replaced. As mentioned earlier, the faulty kits in the Tamale metropolis were replaced immediately to enable a smooth registration of voters. As a result of the backlog from the first day, and based on my discussions with the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, we set up 2 additional registration centers to cater for the teeming crowds. In all, the Tamale Metro Office has 4 registration stations, and this has helped to ease up the long queues and traffic. As a commission, we remain open to constructive dialogue and call on our stakeholders, particularly the leadership of political parties, to engage with us to ensure a successful exercise. I wish to emphasize that in 2024, once again, the Commission will undertake a continuous registration in all districts for a sustained period. And we are looking at some 5 to 6 months of continuous registration. Additionally, a mop-up exercise will be held in selected areas where it is difficult to access our offices. As a Commission, we remain committed to ensuring that every eligible voter who is desirous to get on our roll can do so without hindrance, and we will work within our mandate to ensure that this happens.
That's Jean Adukwe Mensah. She is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, explaining why she and her commission decided to insist that the registration exercise, as a limited registration exercise, should happen only at the offices of the EC in the district and not in electoral areas or registration and voting centers, as would usually be the case, and which case many people are demanding for. And she's explaining there why the point she made as IEA executive director at the time in 2016, demanding for the expansion. She says the scenario there is not the same as the scenario now, because we are not in an election year like it was in 2016. That's the explanation she has given at a press conference. She went further to tell us which region recorded how many people during the registration in the past few days. This is a regional breakdown that she has. Let's listen.
I'll now turn my attention, ladies and gentlemen, to the statistics of the voters' registration exercise so far. At the end of 6 days, we have recorded a total of 182,831 registered voters, and I'd like to provide the breakdown. So I think I'll start with Western Region. Out of the 182,831 registered voters as at day 6, Western Region recorded 11,644, representing 6.4% of the total registered to date. Western North registered 6,491, representing 3.6% total registered to date. Central Region has registered 17,590, representing 9.6%. Greater Accra Region has registered 27,264, representing 14.9%. Volta Region has registered 12,681, representing 6.9%. Oti Region has registered 4,427, registering 2.4%. Eastern Region has registered 19,327, representing 10.6%. Ashanti Region has registered 29,255, registering 16%. Bono Region has registered 6,580, representing 3.6%. Ahafo Region has registered 4,519, registering 2.5%. Bono East has registered 7,291, registering 4.0%. Savannah Region has registered 4,655, representing 2.5%. Northern Region has registered 12,982, registering 7.1%. Northeast has registered 4,244, representing 2.3%. Upper East has registered 8,639, representing 4.7%. Upper West has registered 5,241, representing 2.9%. And it gives us a national total of 831. Interestingly, we see a pattern of more males registering than females. And so at the end of day 6, 53.9% of males had registered as against 46.1% females.
So that's the Electoral Commission Chairperson Jean Mensah giving a breakdown of who has registered where or how many people have registered in which region. A total of 182,000 people registering so far. Ashanti region having the highest number of voters, followed by the Greater Accra region and the Eastern region. 29,000 people registered in Ashanti region, 27,000 in Greater Accra region, and 19,000 in Eastern region. That's a breakdown that the Electoral Commission Chairperson has been given to the media, plus reactions to the demands for an expansion of the registration process. We'll be having reactions when we come back. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so
Somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Hey, now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Hello?
My guy, tonight what's up? What be the agenda?
Bro, make we enter town. We go pick level for 1957 bar. Then we go pre-game for Osu. After we fit enter streets, hit Ali bar, then jam for some other side. But not necessarily in order. Last we will take the last show enter club.
More options, you know that.
You know see, but today be you the pill.
Oh, you don't get problem. As I get Express Pay.
With all your wallets and cards in one place on ExpressPay, you get to chill and casa with no worries. Send money, pay bills, and transact effortlessly. Our 24/7 customer care is always available to assist you. Download ExpressPay and enjoy life with the option of all options.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
What is baffling is that the very same people who are accusing us of trying to disenfranchise eligible voters were silent in 2016 when the Commission instituted registration in the district offices ahead of the presidential and parliamentary election. I take this opportunity to urge the good citizens of Ghana not to believe everything they hear.
That's Jean Mensah, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, is a story we've been bringing you tonight. One of the key groups that have been demanding the expansion of the Electoral Registration Center is the National Democratic Congress. The party demands that the expansion be done, and it even says that there's deliberate disenfranchisement of voters in its strongholds. Clement Apak is a member of parliament representing the people of Bulsa South. He's a member of the National Democratic Congress. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you, Umaru, and I greet your listeners, including those in my constituency of Bulsa South.
Over the weekend, lots of stories emerged and screenshots of an interview Jean Mensah granted Citi FM in 2016, in which interview she made a call for the expansion of the registration exercise, which was then happening. The Electoral Commission was carrying that out. She was then heading the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA. Those screenshots have gotten to her, and when she sat before the media today to answer questions, she had to respond to it. And she says that what was happening then was a registration in an election year, 2016. this particular year, 2023, is not an election year, and there's a whole program ahead where they'll be doing a mop-up exercise plus continuous registration for a period of 6 months. She says because of this, it cannot be said that they are limiting the limited registration and also disenfranchising people. You have been making that call. Are you convinced now?
Very well, Sander. I just had the opportunity to hear some of the comments on your network, keeping in mind that I am in whole with my colleagues on the Public Accounts Committee, so we didn't have the privilege of listening to her throughout. But I've heard her very measly and lame attempt to justify conduct that many of us and many independent thinkers, not just the NDC, not just the political parties which in collaboration with the NDC went to court, or the private citizen who has gone to court, but independent observers, including civil society organizations which have a history of monitoring and commenting on electoral processes, have all said that the current approach, the program that she has put in place, clearly is working against the mandate of the institution that she today heads. So her attempt to try and justify what she said a few years ago, which many of us believe to hold even today, on the basis that the dynamics are different, it clearly would not wash. I say this because the right to vote, Article 42, and anyone who has had the chance to read it, is very clear, is very specific. The third article, which is an entrenched clause, does not only speak about the citizen being 18 years or above and of sound mind having the right to register to participate in public elections and referenda, but talks about entitlement. And when you speak about an entitlement, what that means is that the person who is supposed to be the beneficiary of this right should not be encumbered, or no obstacle should be placed in the way between that person and accessing that right. So it is not for Jean Mensah to decide whether this is an election year or not, and whether the about 1.3 million voters, only about half of them, or 700,000, will be able to register or are willing to register this time to vote or not. Her responsibility as the head of the commission, the singular role of the Electoral Commission, is to make sure that every single citizen who meets the minimum threshold or requirement is able to register at his or her convenience in a way that would not discourage him or her from registering to take advantage of this fundamental right. And what are we seeing? If you take my constituency of Busa South, for example, you have constituency communities as distant as Bachonsa, which is about 35 kilometers to Fumbisi. We are mobilizing the people, which shouldn't even be our responsibility as political parties and as MPs, because the right to vote is not confined to or coterminous with belonging to a political party and expecting representatives of that party, be they MPs or not, to mobilize and organize and finance the prospective beneficiary of a fundamental right to access that right. But even so, given the current conditions, we are doing that. So we mobilize, we arrange, and we carry prospective voters all the way 35 kilometers with their guarantors in a terrible situation where the roads are not motorable. In the farming season, when these people have to be on their farms to get to Fumbisi, and when we get there, the system is down, the numbers are too many because there's only one machine, and the people are not able to register to vote. You then have to either accommodate them with their guarantors, or they have to go home. All of these are impediments. So Jean Mensah cannot tell, it is not in her place to tell we the people we the electorate, we Ghanaians, when and how we should participate in a right that is bestowed on us by the Constitution. Her role is to make sure that people who meet the minimum requirement to register have that access, period. She doesn't determine when we should do it, whether it is an election year or not. And that is the case that we will continue to make.
What you have done could be akin to the account saying that the party is being brought to your home and you're running to meet it midway. If there's going to be an expansion that would be nationwide, and she recalls that in 2020, there were registration centers in all 33,000 polling stations. Why don't you simply let these people wait for the registration to get to their homes and let those who have the means go to Fumbisi to go do the registration, while those who cannot would wait for next year when the expansion is done?
But you see, Umaru, this is where I have a fundamental disagreement, because it is not for her to determine that. It's Jean Mensah telling us that the upcoming district assembly election is not of national value. It is not important. All those who are eligible to register to vote, and by her own figures, some 1.3 million thereabout, are not deserving. So why is she putting impediments in their way by an arrangement that is centralizing the process, thereby denying many the opportunity to register to vote? I would argue that the district level elections are a very important national exercise. And so to think that she would even try to draw a dichotomy between a national election and what we are going to do later this year to elect our assemblymen and women, in itself defeats the very understanding of the role of the commission. The commission is not to determine when, how many people should register. The commission's primary role is to put in place a plan, a program, and a process that would make it easy. And that is why it is an entitlement. If Jean Mensah has overlooked the importance of a right and has sought to belittle that right by seeking to give all of these wobbly explanations, rather than do the needful, as many Ghanaians and almost every stakeholder besides the commission is calling for, she should look at the definition of entitlement. Entitlement. And that is why the framers of the Constitution didn't just confine it to a right, but they say it is an entitlement. And so she should make it possible for us to exercise that right and to benefit from that entitlement. That is a role, period. If it is the case that she doesn't have the resources, she should let us know. But as far as I know, as a member of parliament, she has the requisite resources to devolve the process to the electoral area level so that those who qualify and meet the minimum threshold to register to vote are able to do so in dignity and not in the inhumane way that we are seeing being done.
She makes the point that the resources allocated to her office are not resources for an expanded registration exercise, but it is to cover a process such as the continuous registration and the limited registration as currently pertains. You can't blame her, can you, when she doesn't have the resources?
Well, she hasn't said she doesn't have the resources. And as far as we know, as a member of parliament, there is no time that Jean Mensah has come to parliament to seek approval or to make a case for resources whereupon she has been denied. And so I don't buy that argument. From the onset, when she chose to ignore the wise counsel from the IPAC, whereupon those who attended the meeting had told her that this current arrangement that she was looking at unfolding was not going to be the best. And she had promised, at least the commission, she has the commission, so if I say she, understand that. The promise was made that the issue will be looked at and that IPAC will be engaged. That didn't happen. And she's gone on to unfold what was clearly rejected. She didn't say at the time and up until today that there was a problem with resources. And so you cannot, after the fact, when you are now being told that what you were going to do, the challenges that were anticipated are glaringly clear in front of all of us, you then try to go back and try to parry forward some excuse around a lack of resources. We don't buy that, and that cannot be the case. She should do the right thing. It is not too late to say that, look, given what we are seeing, given the challenges thereof, and given the chaos that we are seeing, even at some centers, it is time that we go to the electoral areas. I think that is what Ghanaians expected of her, not this lame attempt to try and justify the unlawful and illegal process that she is using to clearly disenfranchise many Ghanaians whom we believe are going to be from our strongholds.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's the Honorable Dr. Clement Apak. He's Member of Parliament for Bulsa South. Let's go on the platforms, the social media platforms, and bring some of the messages you are sending to us. Baba Chairman in Tamale says the noise being made by the NDC with regards to the EC rigging election 2024 for the MPP is nothing but political jingoism. Former President Mahama noted to have told the MPP to state their case and allow the EC to decide. Okay, Perez Ewinam says, so the reason for this unwarranted and reckless decision by the EC is financial. What stops the EC from going back to Parliament to ask for additional funds? It is clear that Jean Mensa and her commission do not respect the District Assembly election. JC Blueprint from Esikado Kitan says, I've come to like Jean Mensa for being resilient, focused, and being determined to do what's expected of her as a commissioner. I encourage her not to pay heed to the detractors, that is the NDC. Alex Kofi Arini says the EC should stop defending the indefensible deliberate conduct with intent to disenfranchise Ghanaians, especially in rural areas. So those are some of the tweets that you have been sending through. Let me bring messages from WhatsApp. And Aldolfus from Afram Plains says, obviously the dynamics in the respective years you allude to are different. Why the unnecessary justification? Assuming without admitting your predecessor made some mistakes in 2016, must you repeat same? Mind you, Accra is not Ghana. If one decides not to complain in the past, what stops them from complaining now? Who in Accra will cross a lake as wide as a water before getting to a district office? Farouk Some Sonka says the EC chair's defense is nothing but shameful. So to the EC chair, if it happened in 2016 in this manner, it should happen again in 2023. Are we progressing or are we retrogressing? So if those criticizing it today were quiet when you advocated for expansion, does it mean you should do the direct opposite for your previous stance? Simply lack of principle on his part. Andrews Atubiga from East Legon Hills says, please tell Jean Mensa that we'll believe everything on air excluding her own because she is feeding on my taxes. J.K. Dosu from Mampo Akwepim says, so with the numerous concerns being raised from all well-meaning Ghanaians regarding the ongoing limited voter registration, the EC is still adamant in its quest to limit the exercise to its district offices. That's a question. Ilwam in Accra says, at least we should believe some of the allegations. Is that what Madam Jean Mensa is suggesting? Well, she said don't believe everything. So you're asking if we should believe some of the things. Zilis Dwayne in London says, what's the EC doing? It doesn't make sense. This one is John from Sandema, and he says the explanation by the EC chairperson is giving us, the explanation the EC chair is giving us are not cogent enough, and that's not going to solve the problems of the day. Actions and inactions of this woman are appalling and totally outrageous. She's putting the democracy of the country in jeopardy, and duty bearers must call her to order. Akapol Jr. from Ahafumim says the EC must stop the defensive game it is embarking on and extend the registration centers in order to enfranchise innocent registrants. Send your messages to 0549 986 996. That's the WhatsApp number, 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag Citi Newsroom or tweet at Umaru Sanda and at Citi973.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, the low burst line. A little tight by the hips. Covered sleeves. Off shoulder. Definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes na bonten father ma shanaba. Ma many papa nnuanu na do for mo fie ni mo akwentum. Hwe bibia anya so amani ska ko fie sie fancy da na fie for abefo jawsi no parking. Ebe me Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how to nyina atwa. Hwe Sukasa si adan abroni for an affordable luxury homes. All more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. Where you're fully gated or grants and communities. Or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities. Plus 24-hour security. Omo flexible payments and yeah, no my dear Casa. Plus 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick one-answer stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie, social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susie at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Let's go to the Savannah region now. We are told the Bole, the hometown of former President John Mahama, has been cut off some other communities because the bridge has been washed away by floods. The regional minister is Said Jibril. He's joining us on the line. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umaru.
I'm hearing that your region is really devastated by floods. Is it flood waters from the Bagre Dam spillage, or this is simply a case of rainfall that has filled up your rivers and broken the banks to lead to the destructions?
It is not actually from the Bagre Dam. These are just torrential rains we had for the past 3 days continuously. And in fact, my region is inundated by these floods. As we are speaking, the Salga-Mankango Road is cut off. Then we also have the Bole-Bamboy Road that you are well aware, connecting the trunk road, connecting the southern sector to the upper west. A village very close to Bole has totally been destroyed. The bridge there has totally been destroyed.
Now, this road you talk about is a road that connects the south to the upper west region. Does it mean then that if I want to go to upper west region, I may have to go through upper east? I can't go through your region, or there are alternative routes?
There are alternative routes as communicated by the Minister of Roads and Highways. You know, when you are coming from Kumasi, you have to take a detour through Tichimai, through Kintampo, to Fufuluso Junction, through Damango, and you hit the Sola Road again. Then you can get to Upper West and some parts of Burkina Faso.
Okay, so paint the picture for us about what's happening outside Bole and other areas like we are hearing.
Yeah, what really happened at about 11 a.m. yesterday, you know, most of the communities along the road, if you have traveled from Techimai through Wenchi, through Bamboy to Upper Westwa, you realize that most of the dams are constructed very close to the roads. And one of these dams was what caused this problem after the torrential rains we had for the past 3 days, broke its banks, and then the current of the water moving just washed away the entire road. That is the entire bridge as we speak. That's what really has happened. And so it's causing a lot of inconveniences to travelers. For instance, when we went there today, you realize that the cars that didn't know of the destruction to the bridge have to come very close and now have to go back to, Techimai to take a detour back through the Tamale Trunk Road. They were forced to at least cross the water by canoes. And right in front of us, two nearly even drowned. We have to get the NADMO to go in quickly with their life jackets to save these two people. So as of now, we have barred all vehicles from coming through that side. If you get to Bole, the police will have to send you back to go and pass through either New Long Road through Kintampo or go back to Techimai and take the Tamale Trunk Road.
How are warnings working in the region? Are people being warned ahead of time so they don't have to waste time and go all the way there?
I think the Ministry of Roads and Highways have given out a communication. And I think the communication, as I speak, I am in Damango Township, and I've seen that a lot of the vehicles are now using the Damango Fufuso Solar Road. I believe the communication has gone down well with the drivers and passengers. It's just that the only difference is that the detour has caused a lot of mileage to be covered or kilometers to be covered. Instead of going through Bamboy, you have to go through Damango, and you are adding an additional 250 kilometers to the original mileage or kilometers that you should have covered. And so drivers are up in arms with the passengers because they are trying to increase the fares because of the number of miles or kilometers they've added to the journey from Wa to Kumasi or Wa to Accra. And so that is the only situation we have now. But I believe it was only last night that the information didn't get down well with most of the drivers who didn't know that parts of the roads was not usable. And that's why that inconvenience came as of this morning. But I think that the communication has now gone through to almost every station in Accra and in the Upper West region too.
The bridge we're talking about, how old is it? Is it a new bridge? Is it an old bridge? If it's old, how old?
It is an old bridge. It was constructed somewhere in 1993. Since then, it has not seen any major rehabilitation. It is only that we do a yearly spot improvement along the roads, right from Bamboy through to Nyole to Iowa. But this, as we speak, tomorrow, the road minister and some other engineers from the Ministry of Roads and Highways will be coming and will all be there to see the way forward as to how to quickly find an alternative to cut down the number of kilometers they are doing. So currently, with my understanding with the regional directors of roads and highways who have been there, I've just spoken to the chief director of the roads and highways, who has promised that they are coming even with a contractor who will start looking at alternative ways of getting the road constructed. So the alternative way is that we are going to create a diversion of which is going to be about 1 kilometer long, just to take out the area that has been destroyed whilst we are looking at how to construct the bridge permanently. So this is what, but because of the level of the waters, this may take time because the water is still running. And so for us to be able to even do a diversion means that we have to wait till when the water recedes, then we can do the diversion to at least mitigate the current difficulties we are facing on the road.
How soon before we see a solution to this problem?
That is what I just intimated, because we can only get a solution when the water that is running goes down or we don't have torrential rains again.
What that means that if it rains tomorrow or the day after, then it continues, the status quo remains.
Yeah, it will be pretty difficult for the contractor to begin work because of the level of water. Because as I'm speaking, even Vodafone network has been interrupted because the current of the water was able to break the fiber cables that are connecting the Upper West, Savannah region and Techimai, Bono East. So when we went there, we even met the Vodafone engineers also struggling to make sure that they string these cables to be able to restore for a mobile phone network because the current of the water is just too much for them to bear.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Umaru.
That's the Savannah Regional Minister, the Honorable Said Jibril, speaking to us about the situation there. Earlier on the breakfast show, the City Breakfast Show team engaged the Member of Parliament for the area. How has that story?
Now, the Member of Parliament for Bole Bambo has appealed to the Minister of Roads and Highways to swiftly work on the reconstruction of the Bola Solar section of that broken bridge. Now, speaking on the City Breakfast Show, Yusuf Sulemana entreated the ministry to earnestly fix the affected portion to ease the plight to road users.
The chief director quickly he reached out to me and made a promise that they were going to treat that disaster as an emergency, and that he was dispatching his people there to assess the situation, and then they can advise the public. I believe it was as a result of that they decided that, look, this is not going to be resolved within a day or two, and so they gave out that notice that motorists from the Upper West should use Sola Fufuluso Road, get to Kentampo, Techimai, before they can access places like Kumasi and Accra. Those of us are also going to work from Kumasi, Accra. We also have to use Kentampo to Fulfuluso, Damango, join Sola, and then we can also reach Upper West. Now, those of us in Bole will have to use the Bamboy New Longoro Road and get to Kentampo, then we can access Tamale. And those who want to go to Kumasi and other places, that one, there's no problem. So in the absence of any other alternative, we'll have to take it like that. But I have appealed to the minister that as much as possible, we should be able to do something for our people to be able to cross the road. For instance, there are a lot of people in my constituency who wants to come and register. Because of this disaster, they are unable to cross. And we have just a few more days for us to end the exercise. So if we are not able to give them an alternative, I cannot foresee somebody traveling through Sola to Fulfulso and then to Bamboy and coming to Bole to register and going back through that road.
Yusuf Sulemana is MP for Bole Bamboy in the Savannah region. Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it will not force residents and farmers of the Nawuni community to relocate to higher ground ahead of the spillage of the Bagre Dam. The residents who are situated along the banks of the White Volta have cited their dependence on the river as the primary source for refusing to move. Speaking to Citi News, Jerry Asamani, the Upper East Regional Director of NADMO, says his outfit will keep sensitizing the farmers on the need to move to higher ground for their safety.
In this democratic dispensation, who can you force to move? If the person's life is at stake, and then you reasonably appeal and apply some minimum force, and the person is resisting, the only thing is that you leave it as it is. But fortunately, the farmlands are those that are going to immediately be affected. How for the farmers, those farmers saying all these things, it is when it starts that they themselves will be compelled to move. We are only praying hard that the spillage, the water, the flow in of the water shouldn't spring surprises on them, especially those who attempt to cross the unapproved routes over the river to the other side of it. So again, we're trying to appeal to people to use the bridges. It's just still the appeal that people should move to the higher ground. They already know those grounds that has been located since about 5-6 years ago. And again, we advise farmers not to get closer to the bank. And then any shallow water, they shouldn't attempt stepping in, because these are the times we have been saying that the crocodiles are being disturbed from their natural habitats, or the reptiles, the snakes, and all that. So people should be careful.
That was Jerry Asameni, the Upper East Regional Director of NADMO.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Now, you recall that last week, and in fact the week before, a committee of parliament chaired by Samuel Atacha has been sitting and hearing from witnesses in the leaked tape, which tape was recorded by Daniel Bugri Nabu, and which tape contained voices of three persons: Daniel Bugri Nabu, a police superintendent, and a police commissioner, George Alex Mensah, who had made statements responding to why in that tape they had a conversation they had about why he did not like the IGP and thought that the IGP was the worst IGP and all of that matter. Now, that commissioner has effectively retired. He retired yesterday. COP George Alex Mensah retired yesterday from police service. This morning, Angel FM, Kofi Adumawanweni of Angel FM, called him up to interview him about a number of issues. And the one about his political interest came up as to whether he would be running for parliament. And he confirmed that he's going to contest the Bekwai seat. That's a seat occupied by Joe Osewusu, the first deputy speaker, whom we are told is not running again. Now, COP Alex Mensah says he's going to contest on the ticket of the NPP for the upcoming primaries of the party in Bekwai. Let's listen to that interview.
So, now do need to have a baby.
Angel
So, then you see, now better now, but her mouth. So, what would maybe now for you? Yes, dear, the matter Roma. Professions, you'll be brave, the episode practice be a to practice.
What Jane Hon say be a walk home, Jimmy, over parliament now.
Oh, my dream.
Okay.
My dream.
Oh, okay.
Angel.
And then we do catch it.
Okay. Over prayer position as MP.
And no crap.
Wow. Oh, hey.
Oh, some of the old is something but quite need this year. Bequire number 3.
Okay. And to over pray, say MP, ewo.
Me cooperate.
Near fees are all quack home crab. I didn't know. My own now could check books and my set in my school for no. Like I said, warm up and now all year from one button to the other.
I know they me 3 years and
okay.
And there, the party, oh, baby, you want ye to tell one a show my way, you know, soon you be announced why then. And the beach.
So that's COP George Alex Mensah speaking to Angel FM's Kofi Adumawanweni, in which he confirmed there that he's going to contest for the primaries to be Member of Parliament for Bekwai. He retired yesterday. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next, we have the latest from the world of business from the Citi Business Desk. And then there will be no point blank tonight. There's a game, an EPL Monday Night Football between Nottingham Forest and Burnley at the City Ground in England. And the City sports team is in studio to bring you live commentary on that match. So do stay tuned in and listen to that conversation. Eyewitness News is effectively over. My name is Umaru Sandamado. I did this with Hawa Idrisu. Production by Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafi, with the technical support coming through from Daniel Squashy and new media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening and stay with us.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Let's settle for the details. Ghana has maintained its spot as Africa's most indebted country to the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Ghana's debts at IMF increased by 35.55% over the period under consideration. The following business desk report has highlight per data from the IMF's quarterly finances for July ending 2023.
The debt by Ghana accounts for 9.55% of the 17.68 billion special drawing rights in total loans still owed by the fund to African countries. Out of the 5 categories of largest outstanding loans as of July 31, 2023, Ghana's special drawing rights stood at $1.69 billion, higher than the $1.25 billion SDR recorded as of April 30, 2023. Ghana has repaid $8 million in terms of special drawing rights to the International Monetary Fund. As of July 31, 2023, Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo held the second and third largest outstanding loans to the fund positions in Africa, respectively. Sudan and Uganda, whose exposure to the fund is projected at 992 million special drawing rights and 812 million special drawing rights, respectively, kept their positions of 4th and 5th. Meanwhile, 11.32 billion special drawing rights were owed to the IMF by the rest of Africa.
That was excerpt of the IMF's quarterly finances for July ending 2023, in which Ghana came top as the highly indebted country to the fund in Africa. And the Pensioner Bondholders Forum is resisting attempt by the government to include them in the next round of the domestic debt exchange program. The group, which was initially excluded from the debt restructuring earlier this year, is demanding their removal from the government's reopened DDEP, including Esla PLC and Dachi Trust PLC. Addressing journalists in Accra, the convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani Enchi, called on the government to abort any plans to include them in the DDEP to avert any delays in the payment of the principals and coupons which are due.
We believe that the inclusion of Category B holders, that is pensioners, in the invitation is irregular for the following reasons. Category B holders, that is the pensioners, who did not tender their bonds were on the 16th February 2023 exempted from the DDEP. Effectively, natural persons 59 years old and above, as of 1st January 2020.
Dr. Edu Anani Enchi is convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is poised to scale up local production capacities of enterprises to become African giant. The association notes that it has identified a number of Ghanaian products that are in good demand and ought to be produced in large quantities for the foreign market. Addressing participants at a 3-day summit and industrial exhibition, the president of AGI, Dr. Humphrey Ayim-Dake, discouraged excessive importation and pushed for the development of raw materials to boost local production.
We have identified a number of made-in-Ghana products that are in good demand in view of our comparative advantage in producing these products in Ghana. It therefore makes business sense to cite such businesses in Ghana and produce them here for foreign markets. It is gratifying to note that the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Trade and Industry government's decision to embark on import substitution, which has a direct bearing on forex, job creation, improved livelihoods. For how long are we going to depend on imported rice, imported poultry, imported vegetable cooking oil, bottled water, machete, toothpick, tomato, ceramic tiles, and I could go on and on.
Dr. Humphrey Ayim-Dake is president of the Association of Ghana Industries. The Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry is encouraging cement manufacturers to capitalize on the government directive for the suspension of permits for new Portland cement factories. This move aims to ensure that end users of their product receive fair treatment. The Chamber maintains that despite experiencing a decrease in demand, the recent directive by the Ministry of Trade and Industry provides a strategic opportunity for local players to sustain growth within the sector. Emmanuel Cherry is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, and he has been speaking to Citi Business News.
The industry itself is on a low pace as we speak. So therefore, construction material purchase is also in the low pace. So where we are heading to now, strategically, one thing that one needs to do is also to slow down in the accreditation or possibly the licensure aspect of the wholesale aspect of giving license to manufacturers to come in and keep producing into the market, keep flooding the market without its proper market. So with this, the chamber, we believe it's a welcoming news to us because it will make the letters that we have in the market at least rotate within and then they give value accordingly. But our fear is if the few ones that are in the space of manufacturing or production will not take advantage over this and form a cartel and then start siphoning with the industry player or the consumers at the tail end. That's the only plea that we may put before the manufacturers.
That was the Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, Emmanuel Cherry. Now let's talk City Business Olympics, shall we? And if you still do not have an idea of what we here at Citi TV and Citi FM are up to on Saturday, September 30, then listen. We are building up to our annual sporting festival, which is the City Business Olympics, which seeks to assemble business entities nationwide. The following report highlights activities for that big day.
The annual City Business Olympics will once again bring together business organizations from all over Ghana because it is the biggest gathering of Ghana's corporate body where staff members are expected to be entertained by engaging in a number of interesting sporting events, while participating entities aside from the fun and sportsmanship will also benefit from team building, business networking, ideas sharing, learning, and of course, the showing of other super talent. The sporting activities on that day will include 7-a-side football, swimming, tennis, volleyball, basketball, and table tennis, all to be enjoyed with enthusiasm by the hundreds of corporate organizations that will be participating. The rest of the entertaining games include lime and spoon challenge, sack race, arm wrestling, tug of war, Owari Ludu, and video games. But guess what? The highlight of the day will be the CEO's Challenge, where business executives compete for that coveted title of Ultimate CEO. So all roads will therefore lead to the Eden Heights Sports Complex in Waja come September 30 for the 2023 edition of the City Business Olympics. It will be a day of fierce corporate competition. The 2023 edition of the City Business Olympics is proudly powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM. It is sponsored by Lozati Lozenges from Unicom Chemists Limited, EK Brand Consults, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, and Hollard Insurance.
That was a report on highlights of this year's City Business Olympics, which will happen on Saturday, September 30 at Eden Heights Sports Complex at Weija here in Accra. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Have a good evening.